Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Ra-ta-ra-ta-ra-ta-ta-ra. Fratelli di Rugby Podcast. Fratelli di Rugby Podcast. L'Italia Rugby Podcast. Fratelli di Rugby Podcast. Fratelli di Rugby Podcast. L'Italia Rugby Podcast. Subscribe.
Qua. Don't forget to subscribe. Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti in un new episode of Fratelli di Rugby Podcast. Mike, how are you?
Yeah, no, I'm good, man. I'm good. Obviously, lots to talk about this week. Some great, some slightly less great, but all good when it comes to Italian rugby. Eh?
Exactly. So we're gonna dig deep into the two games. Zebre Dragons first game of the week, and then we're gonna end it up with Benetton Exeter Chiefs, and then I don't know if you had any chance to watch other games. I was pretty privileged this week, so I watched
Yeah.
and great
Under
try,
18s.
Mike. A lot of scoring tries, huh? No matter what.
Yeah, I watched the under 18s, and I watched some of the most of the women's game as well. Missed the last 20 minutes.
That was good. The women's game, until they were fit in the first half, was magnificent. The way they were defending. Then, of course, the under 18 they made history, scoring and winning, playing also a beautiful kind of shape of rugby. So congratulations to the team and Coach Lodi, former Rovigo. We saw him always around. One of the best coaches at the moment with the youngest player. A good identity of rugby. So that was something. Best player in the field, Mike, from the under 18.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's one player that stands out. Eh?
Was Michele Negri or Giacomo Falchetto the 13?
Minus the charge down, Falchetto was like he was unplayable. Negri's got wheels though, doesn't he? He's got, to be honest with you, I'm really excited about this crop. There's quite a few players that I thought were brilliant. I think I said the tight head as well to you. Just very mobile for a tight head. Seemed to hold his own in the scrum as well. So, and I'm really excited. We've got a lot to be excited about. Andretti as well, which you've been saying for years now.
Andretti, it's really like he's the old man between the boys. You can see the way he play. It's good to have a 9 like that.
He's got a lovely kicking style as well. Like he can kick far. You can tell that he can kick like quite far. He dials it back. I'm quite excited, to be honest.
Trying to bring something similar between the two games. If you think about the line break by Michele Negri, by the winger in the middle, looked a little bit like Rio Dyer line break against Zebre. And they fucked it up there, because Mike, if we were the Zebre attacking and our attack was going to throw the ball outside off the field, probably we're there screaming many name of saints. So you know what? Hey, it is what it is. But this game, Mike, where do you think Dragons won the game and where Zebre lost this game?
I mean, it's easy. It's easy to say discipline, eh? Obviously, given where and how they ended up like giving up penalties, giving up territory, and also it was just one after the other as well. So it would. When you're about to score and you're 5 meters out and you give away a cheap penalty and then they kick, and then they kick sort of 25, 30 meters, and then at the line out you make another penalty, and all of a sudden you're in your 22 and they score a try. That's a 14-point swing. So for me, right, if I'm being purely objective, it's the result of ill discipline at the most crucial point of the game, which was unfortunate. But yeah, Zebre played some nice stuff, eh? Like there was some nice out of that game. I want to be sort of clear with everyone. Yeah, I mean it was tough, and obviously they scored 2 late tries to make it, a much more sort of reasonable. But the way they played, there's some good there.
I'm sure you're thinking about the last 10 minutes of game, more or less, where was
Specifically, yeah,
free game, and I think was like that because was safe for the Dragons when they were able to keep those 2 minutes more, Mike, because then at the end, 3 minutes more, maybe the game was different.
Yeah.
Because they were pushing and pushing. But yes, in that moment, you see Zebre able to move the ball and to capitalize what they were doing, because they've been few errors, few mistakes when they enter in the 22, especially in the early second half, where from two mistakes by Zebre equal a driving maul try by the Dragons.
right.
We know that, right?
Yeah,
That happened again and again. But yes, we saw probably the best thing that I saw in this game from Trulla was how much he wanted to verticalize, to play there.
through the crowd. Yeah,
Yeah, all those kicks.
yeah.
Because he can step, but all those kicks to put pressure, to keep moving, to gain territory in a way. And another one, I liked it a lot. So that is some of the best things I saw from him. This mentality, kinda, to go and try to do it there and scoring, and then he scored another try, which is always good. 3 games, 3 tries for True.
Just straight back in. Yeah, it's like he hasn't gone. Man, I'm really like impressed with like you said, right? Not to work backwards from the last few minutes, but I think we've learned a lot about a few of the players, and how they present themselves under pressure, and like a couple of players that potentially we've been putting a lot of pressure on delivering in high stake games. Maybe they didn't have their best games, and maybe that's media fault, maybe that's their own fault, but there was some really like classy play in those last 6 minutes when the game, in all due respect, was lost. Obviously, it was 17 points down, 6 minutes to go, but they played unshackled, Otto. Like, that's what Zebre can do, right? At their best, they were playing flat at the line. They were risking intercepts because they were playing so, fizzing balls out, playing off 9, sort of just took out sort of the 10, 12, allowed them to sort of try and direct from the backfield, and just fizzing, and just every time they were taking carries off 9, making yards and showing the physicality. And this is the thing that I want to see more from Zebre, because we know that they can mix it with some of the most physical teams in the URC, but they never really use that size. They never really use that power. I think Nocera was probably one of the ones that is probably most known for it. But man, like that excites me, man. Like that for me is something that you can put some money in the bank, right, for next season. Remember those 6 minutes. Remember what you can do when there's no pressure.
It's positive to think about what they still do. There've been, we said, many changes in the team, but also it's hard to find a way to cover those positions with good enough players, or maybe potential good players. But we saw, I think, everything you can expect by the Zebre, a team that can be in the first half there in the result, with the other one being there physically the full game, but then those details that change everything. And probably, yes, that penalty from Pitinari, I mean, I understand that you were there legally, you were able to put your hands on the ball, but then of course in that moment you want just to grab the 9, because you don't think it's the 9 opening, you just think it's another player that putting the hands in the rack to try to defend. If I have to try to justify that,
listen.
Still, 3 points there is hard. Like Asa, the other 3 points they left.
It's tough because obviously
you understand why it's happening, but it's
Yeah. But also, like, it's tough because we always say, "Listen, that didn't, a game wasn't lost by 3 points." But actually, without those three
Oh,
points, extra time, but anyway, listen, like you said, not one person's fault. It's just one of those where when you're in the pressure cooker and you feel aggrieved, right? Some people react in weird ways. Like I think every person that's played rugby at any standard and has played in tournaments or played anything, there's always one person that loses their head. Obviously, it could be like Ben Flower in the Super League, cup a few years back, who just knocks a player out. People react in different ways, and obviously, when you're under that pressure and you want to do well for your team and you're a leader and something. Remember Lamaro against Ireland where he just knocks the ball out. Sometimes it's just those
the
to your head.
famous brain fart.
Brain
Sometimes
fart,
you know
perfect.
another one.
Yeah, perfect word, Otto. Like it's just blood to the head, rush, boom, brain fart, game.
Done. So the Zebre Mike, they don't have anything else to ask for from the Challenge Cup. There are not a chance for the playoff, of course, but there is some chance to shine too. How you think they're gonna manage these last games, Zebre, giving more time to example Quattrini starting? Is gonna be to understand better the next year team.
Yes.
Fix
Yeah, for sure. For
some
sure.
stuff.
Brunello strikes me as that kind of guy. Like he'll want to understand where players are at for next season, and also I think he didn't look happy, right? Like that's one thing. Like every time the camera went to him, like there's some fire in him, and I think actually any of the players that are going to be playing next season, there's probably going to be a lot of expectation from Brunello for them to work hard in pre-season, and the ones that haven't had game time, the ones that haven't had minutes, the only way you're going to understand where they're at is, hey, listen, like chance. I don't know. There's a chance that they could come second to last, which might be enough for him. But I think for him, it's more like let's see what we can do next season. I think that he's that kind of coach.
He's already thinking what's next.
Yeah.
What is interesting to see, during the game they show the bench and the players in on top, I think, in the tribune over there, La Tribuna.
Yeah.
Ruffolo Mike is a player that I almost
Big boy,
forgot
isn't
about because he get injured so early, but he show up something different in the locks. So I'm wondering how he's going to be used next year. A player like him, plus the young fellas coming from Racing. So it's all some changing. Ortobina
Did we
ended up playing a 6.
did we talk about the speculation from last week about a certain Francois May potentially?
Oh, there was market-wise, there was the speculation about being one
By the
of
way,
the.
guys, speculation with a capital S on this one.
I think was Gazzettino, La Tribuna, anyway, from Treviso. Rumors
Yeah,
from Treviso
yeah.
about being a player that can, like, he's gonna come back to Italy to play, and with the white and greens. So with
Oh, not with Zebre.
no, I understood with
Mm.
Treviso. It's gonna be.
Oh, I must have misread because I understood it.
Or maybe I'm misreading, but I think from Treviso was the news that
I'm.
he was going.
I mean, not bad. If anyway, right. If it's
Another
Treviso, let's leave it for that segment. But for me, I thought it was Zebre. I'm like, okay, cool. We've got Brunello might be making moves with the Italy A players and putting like his pawns into place.
Okay, let's say he's gonna play with Zebre. Where you gonna have is he gonna be a 15 for you or a center for you?
I really like Montemari at 15, but yeah, 15 would be nice with him, and Barney would be like brilliant. Then you have an option. Oh, I'd love that. I would love that. I would love to see him at Zebre. Obviously,
Okay, interesting. But anyway, let's see what's gonna happen. For now, we know that those players are moving to the locks. Talking about locks, they're moving there. So that's the Zebre situation, and who you think he was the Zebre of the week? Who was the player that you say, you know what, that was good?
Just because he never gets any plaudits, I thought Krumov spoke to the referee well. He didn't do anything wrong. He worked hard for the try at the end. He worked really hard in defence. He's my unsung hero of the week, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, totally.
And then the beast is, other than being held up in the tackle once, Odiase was exceptional as well. Like he's started. Anyone who said that he's not a test player, just watch his last 3 or 4 games. Even watch what he was doing against South Africa on his debut. He is a real animal, man.
Mike, what do you think he can improve?
I think, to be honest with you, I think a lot of it comes down to like in his head. Menoncello looks at a player and thinks he can beat them. Like there's so many interviews
Like
where
unlocked.
right, he needs to unleash, like, because he is such a beast, right? And you see it in his tackles. Like he's really good at like trying to lift, but his tackle selection for me is really important. Like he could be a player that could do really well with like the holding players up. He's very like powerful. He's got a great base. That would do really well if he starts getting better tackle selection and making decisions in defence. Like, they probably have more mature at Benetton, if I'm being honest, with like how they have their roles. If he understands his role better, he'll be an animal.
For me, in general, I think he can do better using his arms too when he goes into contact. I understand that he goes usually into contact straight, but there was one example, was that turnover, no? After he came really, really hard, he got stolen the ball, something like that, no? And so that probably something that he can work better, trying to push away players, trying to put down also this back. Agazapado is the word I always have in mind. Think about how they coach in France. So like entering this situation, kind of like the Ayen did us too. Like talking about players a little bit lower, so it's harder to come and grab you the ball or to create that more situation. Probably that is something also working a little bit more. But hey, is working well. That's the thing that we can see many times when they tackle against him. Actually, when he tackles, the player doesn't gain more meters, which is positive on that.
Yeah, and also like his at times when they were in sort of 5 meter or in the 22 defense where it's like set D, he's quite good at like making sure that they land on the wrong side, or they land on top of the ball, or they land on their back and they have to place it back. Like he's strong enough to actually make the decision on where the player needs to land, which is really important. Obviously, it's much more important in rugby league where you
Absolutely.
don't want them to find their front, you want them on their back, right? But you can see that he has
something like it was also an interesting choice from the lineout. He was let's say the receiver this week. Then a couple of line out, of course, they could have been better from both sides between tempo. Think about the one that they stole and the one that goes one in the first, one in the second half, if I'm correct, that were so important.
The overthrow hurt the most, I think, because the
overthrow was in the second half. In the first half, there was that situation where the ball goes.
I think.
Okay, what happened? I'm learning stuff with the
I agreed with you anyway. Yeah.
Okay, agree with me. Okay. Okay. Probably I understand what happened. But so that in the second half, Mike, when the ball is being touched by Odiase, recovered by Zanon or Bertaccini, goes on the floor and they steal the ball. There was another entry in the 22.
Yeah.
Of course, when you are not clever in those situations where you can not let the defender make some kind of mistakes, penalties, and stuff. Hey, Nothing else can change.
I have a question for you, Otto. Like, what are your thoughts on our old friend Paella on his performance?
Jesus mio, man. Man, when he breaks two tackles and he get tackled by Fuskas, he got a big injury this season. So
Yeah, man.
Aya last year grew up so much. In 2 years, was a different kind of player.
Yeah. We needed patience with him, mate.
And
You know
because
what else?
the project is different, but Paella show up that he can do stuff at least
Yeah,
maybe lower level UFC. But hey, he was good. He was good, Mike.
yeah. And he also, for their final Maul try, he's the one that went in. Like, lots of good contributions from him, which was a bit of a kick in the teeth, kick in
Yeah.
the teeth in the place where he loves to play.
Well, talk about kicking in. Let's go to the other game. The kicking in man of the match, Varney. So, no, the players that they know each other
I didn't
so
know
much.
he got man of the match, but actually, like, I get it.
No,
Like,
and Zambonin scored the try too. No, another
yeah.
Italian scoring against the Italians.
I messaged you privately. Vincent playing as if he had rabies, like he's just frothing at the mouth. Like, um, oh,
No,
what a game!
somebody who was more than him was Steven Varney. The way
Yeah,
he put his body into contact, I know he get thrashed away by
Nicolò.
Cannone
Yeah,
in the try. But hey, when he covered in the wide side against Menoncello a couple of times, when they were able to get a penalty between him taking with Skinner juggling.
it's also how he like always found himself with the kicks. He always found himself in the right spot, exactly where the ball was going to land, and
So,
his anticipation for the ball was
so
yeah,
happy for the Italians at Exeter in general. The Three
yeah,
Musketeers did well. They show up how good they are there. And then, Mike, at the end of everything, the difference is 3 points in this game, where
mhm,
I think Treviso show up how good they are in the cup, how good they can play. And this was another game, like we said last week, where they're able to score many tries, which is one of the most positive let's say achievement of this new attacking coach being that good in attack at the end
yeah,
of the season. So you start working and you see the level. And
yeah,
then, of course, there are a lot to say positive, some stuff also negative, I think, about this game. But in general, Treviso grew up a lot. He's able to play games like this against the Exeter Chief, which is a team that is not gonna give you anything for granted or for free. They always are gonna push until the end of the game, even when they lose the games. Chiefs keep playing hard, and this was a nice set because so many duel in this game between players, kickers, nine coming from the bench, the locks, the Italian lock against the other Italian lock. In
yeah,
the back row, how they work, Lorenzo Cannone, Ross Vincent, how good is David Jenkins in understanding the game, Mike. Then he doesn't do anything shiny, but he works hard on that side. On the other side, you have Mancello, always more confident of the way he can play. You have Gallagher there, despite maybe a couple of tackles, but he's a really reliability for Treviso.
yeah.
Have played well. I mean, a lot to say, and 3 points at the end again. But the gap is only in a situation. If you want, we can touch the situation.
First of all, right, I
Just
want to. I'm happy. I'm happy to dive into that. But there's one thing that you said right at the start there, which is so important, which is given time, this is what Benetton can do. And I can't think of a time where Exeter had went a half of rugby with like I think it was what 26% possession in the first half.
yeah,
Um, that I don't think I've ever heard that, and because Exeter are typically a possession team, obviously they fed off scraps and they did well, but like Benetton were playing some nice stuff. Like it's just yeah, like you said, Otto, it's the fine margins, my friend. But let's dive into it, right? Like I've seen a lot. about what's been said online, and I think, well, I know because I've spoken to you, you know my viewpoint, but just so everyone's clear on the final penalty, which obviously slotted by Exeter to win the game, I don't have any issues with regards to what the referee pinged Benetton for, and I'm going to explain very quickly what had happened. If you look at the slow motion, is as Bernasconi goes to try and take the ball, Marin is still in the way. So what happens is it's anticipated. He anticipates early, which means that's poor discipline. He needed to wait for Marin to move before he tries to take the ball. Probably would have won the turnover, but because he latches on before whilst Marin's still on the floor and the runway's not clear, then they have to go round, right? If you're trying, and this goes, anyone who has played back row, anyone who has played as a forward in rugby understands. If you're going to hit a player of his size, of his stature, in that position, you have to drive him off the ball because you can't roll them anymore. So you can't come in at the side. You have to come in front, right? You have to hit him square in the shoulders. You have to drive him back. So with that taken out of the game, then for me, I've got no issue with the calls there. If you want to argue anything else that happened, be my guest. But I have no issues with that call. And I like one thing for me that's really important, and this is what I said to Otto as well. We need to educate people on the laws. There's no issues with that. Like, there's absolutely no issues with that call.
I go with the traditional, the rugby values. No, I respect the ref. Whatever he's gonna say, it's okay, and it's gonna be okay. It's been okay weeks, and I don't care, Mike. I don't care.
It's
you know why?
you
You
need
know
to
why
learn from.
it is because there are always other situations where other kind of penalties are avoidable. They can be avoided. Look at how silly the penalty just before they got the other 3 points as Slade put in the second half. It's just a box kick with a push with a push. You don't have to use your hands there. Just keep your hands down and give an hard tackle there on that situation. He's not jumping either, so you cannot touch the player in the air, which is even easier to recognize, and it's been recognized by the ref, and the 3 points goes there with Mendy. That situation there.
Yeah.
But in general, I understand also that a few minutes early, I think was 65 or 55. Now I have to rewatch. There was a situation where for a tackle that chopped completely down another player, Treviso is able also to put the hands on and get a penalty because there was no time for the other player. Then it's literally on the moment. I don't know, because the translation that by Ramos given in the field was not that clear.
I think it was Franglish. It wasn't Itanglish. It was Franglish. That
he thought in French, and
right.
It happens to me many times.
It happens to best of us, mate.
But it is what it is. But the point to add to you, Mike, is we don't have to miss not the missed opportunity to go in a semi-final, but the good rugby played in this game.
Thank you.
This has to be a game that you remember. We play at the same level with the other team, and we were able to do this and this. We were able to believe until the last moment, and then for nothing. But still, it's positive. There are so many
first thing we said.
in the meantime. There are 40 points of good stuff and 40 points of negative stuff.
Of course. But the first thing that we said in the chat, right, as in terms of my analysis, was we just mixed it in terms of Benetton. We mixed it with possibly the best team in England, like Northampton, Bath, but Exeter are up there. They're second at the moment, right? Possibly one of the best teams in England. We mixed it. And to be honest with you, right, that far from beating them. It's like Bristol from the previous year in the Champions Cup, and like Bath as well from the previous year in the Champions Cup. That far away from making a big difference, right? So now, right now we know Benetton can play at this level and do these things at this standard in Europe. The question always has to come then, Otto, what's going on with the URC? What is the issue with the URC? Do you just think that there's McRae and team have had enough time and it just culminated at the end of the season for them to play well? Or do you think there's something else that we need to be looking at in Treviso?
I the thing seems to be like they play. I know sometimes the team that we play against in the early stage of the Challenge Champions Cup, depending which team we play, if it's a French team or whatever, you usually see different kind of selection. So you see many changes, but other times you see a team that is able to win games with the same numbers, same names in the team sheet in the top 14, just to give an example. So
Yeah,
Bath came with a different team against when they play against Treviso, not Russell and the best players they had, but still they put a good team. Castra did the same. Toulon, if we go back years ago when Paris was still around, no? I mean,
yeah.
that was the situation. So I think they leave the between selection and how much they look at this game as an opportunity also to reset everything, because there's nothing to lose. You are not the team that already lose 3 games in the URC.
You're saying it's a blank slate, and that's how they think about it in their head.
Probably they leave it as should be, Mike. Probably,
Yeah,
yeah,
of
because
course.
you don't have to bring all the bad
Baggage.
stuff from the
Yeah.
exactly this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for me, that side, because they scored a lot of points all games, Mike. All games they scored a lot of points, scored a lot of tries, and
Yeah.
played well.
Yeah.
Umaga is having a head actually in the Challenge Cup, a really great season.
Yeah.
He's growing up in his game, and probably gonna see hopefully this kind of Umaga for many games, because Umaga tried to let's say was a little bit hidden in other situation, but now you see how much he play. The big issue for Treviso next year is not having Menoncello, so that's power. But I'm excited to see, first of all, more chances for Paolo Dogu, because when you see the team sheet and you see that Dogu is not in this team sheet this week, you see, damn it, there is a chance to have seen this player missed.
Yeah.
We're going to see probably starting Mr. Marin more often, which is probably the big question mark in this selection. Why he didn't start it? If it's your best player in the Challenge Cup, why do not start him? And then you leave for the clutch moment if you want the experienced player for 20 minutes with Malakai Fekitoa. That's my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I
Because
was thinking about this a lot.
shit about Mike, what happened?
What's that, sorry?
Marin, it's so cold the way he play rugby that you can
Doesn't
put.
care. Yeah, he doesn't care. Yeah, we had this discussion as well. Like, he
Russell
just
style, Mike, in that way, like whatever, let's
he's a
play.
killer. He's a killer. He's just got ice in his veins. He does not care, does he?
But Mike, it's gonna be interesting between Odogu power next year, more chances to see him, and Flock. Flock becomes something different with the version. So the players are coming in. They can be really interesting. Even the lock number 8 that is coming from the Canes is another one good. So there is all positive, because there is this rebuilding going on. We're gonna see more of Aminu, more of everybody, and more players, and it's okay. Now with Pivac is gonna be so much interesting. Also, the way it's gonna be pointed out these situations, like okay, it's play off.
Yeah, yeah.
1 in, 1 out. I know how to play this game. We're gonna do this and this,
Yeah.
believing in our
The structure of
in
each position.
in our system of beliefs and everything.
Yeah.
With Hawkins, that seems to work because the shapes, Mike, is getting better in the games. When they play well, there is always those moves, those situations where they can be better. So, Mike, all positive in all this, all positive.
Yeah, for sure. Pivac also likes young players as well, so I'm guessing we're probably going to see a lot more of those guys promoted to the senior team as well. Question for you, Otto. Same question that you gave me about Zebre. What do Benetton do now? Obviously, playoffs are too far off. Like, how do you see the last remnants of this season going for Benetton? What do you do? Do they play youngsters as well? What would you do in their position?
I think they're gonna keep playing this mix because they want to find also the balance between cohesion between some players. I think that can be something. I think they're gonna play hard all games left, really hard games. You don't have to give anything for free to the other players. You don't have to think, you know why I'm experimenting. No, I don't care. I'm experimenting. Well, look what I'm gonna do in this game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna defend. I'm gonna be a better player than you. So for me, they have to push hard in the next game.
So you're saying like now's the time to try and make it like as competitive as possible, make each other have headache, make the coaches have headaches at selection now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because if you think, Mike, they have two hard games, Munster and Leinster, and then there is Sharks and Bulls away. I mean, those are the last 4 games left. So
What would you do if they win all 4 games?
oh my
Out of
God,
interest.
that's Mike, fantastico.
Yeah.
That can be wow. That's gonna be another surprise because
Yeah.
recent years always it's a surprise reaching the playoff. It's still a surprise for Treviso, but for me, the 2 home game fight with everything you have. You have players leaving. You have players that are gonna say thank you to the team for another time. Players that who knows where if they're gonna be confirmed next year.
Every game is a Challenge Cup final. I hear what you're saying.
These
Otto,
2 games,
Yeah.
at least these 2 games, then with the Shark is gonna be a chaotic, crazy game. With the Bulls, it's gonna be like un macello, Mike, like slaughterhouse
jeez.
between un macello, a slaughterhouse between the
Yeah.
2 games in the last game. Eat everything. Wow, it's
Yeah.
gonna be hard, Mike.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. Like there's
Munster home, and Leicester home. You can still dream hard.
Yeah, but also Otto, like there's plenty to be excited about. Again, right? Benetton, we know the levels that they can reach. We've known it for a while. It's just always, I hate using this word, but it's always the same issues with Italian teams, which is consistency, right? We know where these teams can get, and the same issue with Zebre, if I'm being candid. Like we know what they can do. And there's 4 games, Otto, and it's 4 games to glory. Like you were saying earlier, maybe it's because in the Challenge Cup it's a blank slate. They need to think of that now. Like now is the first. They were on a win streak, and now they're on 0 again. And now is where they start building that win streak up again. But that, there's plenty to be excited for.
Mike, on the other side, Zebre, they play against Edinburgh away, and then they play Dragons on the Liberation Day weekend.
Yeah.
So that is, and then Bulls Sharks. So both teams are gonna be in South Africa. Let's see also what they're gonna try to do, the other 2 teams, once thing is set. But yeah, Mike, I mean, they have to be brave now because they need to be brave next year with this big change coming in Treviso. And at the end, if you think also the player management this season much better, and is already something so positive from Mekre. We should say Mekre for this because he's the head coach. So positive stuff, Mike, on that. And but now let's see. That's it, Mike. I think nothing else to say about this game. It's been these games.
I'm like, just because I know there's a bit of sour taste in everyone's mouth. Like, hopefully, if you listen to the podcast, you listen to what Otto and I have said. There's always like stuff to be positive about, and one thing that we have as Italian fans is hope, right? We have hope, and like just take the bitterness. Yeah, these things happen, but lessons to be learned, and hopefully we learn them right for next game. So yeah.
Mike, one question: who's gonna win the Challenge Cup?
The challenge.
Yeah.
I know everyone else in the chat thinks it's going to be Toulon, but for me, Exeter look good, man.
Exeter. So Ulster Exeter is gonna win Exeter.
Yeah.
And Montpellier Dragons, Montpellier.
Sorry, Montpellier. Was it Montpellier? Apologies, Montpellier.
Yeah. Okay, Montpellier Dragons. So Exeter Montpellier is gonna be, Mike.
Yeah, Exeter win.
It's gonna be the Stuart Hogg Challenge Cup between the past and present. Let's go with the past. Let's go with the Exeter. So yes, of course. We have three times, Mike.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, listen, like these are the games where the lads learn like a little bit more about what to do in big games, and of course we want like the Italian boys to do well.
And on the other side, Leinster, Toulon, and Bordeaux Bath. How is gonna be this Champions Cup? What do you think? Leinster Toulon, is it gonna be Toulon?
That's. I mean, yes, I think so. Right, I think
with
so.
Four Mall scored and one try scored by Sergio Paris in the final, correct?
It was just straight out of retirement just to score the try, drop goal.
Minutes.
Just drop goal. Now that he's Italian coach, he has to prove a point. Yeah, I think Toulon, and then the other side, right? I know Bordeaux are overwhelming favourites. Wow. But Bath have a bit. Bath have something. Huh?
Yeah, but the Bath has something. How ruthless they were, but also the Saints show up. They were. Even the week before with Castle, they were so close to have another Bath game than able to.
Yeah, I don't know what I'll say. Let's say Bordeaux, Toulon final.
Well, let's say Toulon final and Toulon winning. We have 5 Italians, 3 players, 2 coaches, which is crazy. Brex had a stormer of a try, like Patrick de Villiers had the same kind of try, Mike. If you look at it, I never seen playing that well. Nacho Brex, I mean, running those many meters in.
He's so slow. He's just too slow.
That's what he said.
Just so slow.
Anyway, Mike.
But again, right? Listen, like we know Brex is unreal, and sorry. By the way, for those of you guys who don't realise, it's a joke, right? It's a personal joke that we know, but we have a friend of ours who has said some ridiculous things in the past. But I think Brex is thriving now. He's obviously got Albornoz there as well now, which obviously probably helped with some of the transition across. And man, like
another little beast like Chocobares.
Yeah, man. I'm really happy to see like him do so well, and I'm hoping for Tommy when he transitions across, he's going to get game time. They are going to develop him, right? And he's not just. That's one thing that I'm concerned about, like with some of these moves. It's the fact that Benetton have looked after Tommy, but hopefully
they will probably will. That's it. They're gonna have a good team in Toulouse to think about next season. Maybe they need a couple of more players. I don't know who they're gonna take.
Cabrozzo coming back. It'd be nice, man.
My God, so many. Anyway, Mike, thank you for your time. Thank you guys to watch Fratelli Rugby podcast. Drop us a like, a follow. Remember, there is a bell. You can ring the bell. Link on the bell so you know where we are live. And that's it for today, Mike. So see you next week for another episode. Let's see what's going to happen. And watch out, guys. We're going to have a new guest coming soon. So subscribe to the channel because they're going to pop new stuff. Ciao a tutti.
Ra Brotherhood.